fast lane through a hurricane. Open road and I'm ready to roll. Put the pedal down right away. Red line and I'm giving it more. City lights are burning right behind me. Top down, I'm pushing it to the floor.
Blocking the stables. Meanwhile, the old pro in that stables, Andy Brass, he's sitting pat. He's staying with the same combination he had last year. Coming after him. Point in hand, Gary. Out of North Carolina, Wadesville, North Carolina, Gary Porter comes back on the circuit again. When the points went up by PENDA, all the Chevrolet boys said, let's go get them. This is going to make for an interesting year. However, Andy Brass and Bigfoot doing what...
Northern Ohio, as we are ready for round 2.
Well, Andy Brass is going to come out. He's your defending world champion, kind of like an old pair of loafers. He's driving the same truck he was in last year. Paul Schaefer in the other lane out of Portage, Indiana, be representing the Chevrolet camp. We're glad to have this guy on the tour. And like I said earlier, the Chevrolet guys kind of got behind the barn, gave themselves a pep talk, and they want to bump these Fords and Dodge out of this Ford's lead seat. But in order to do it, you got to get past this guy, and that's one tough little job.
Yeah, it's not only Ford, it's the Bob Chandler juggernaut.
Yeah, Chandler is to this sport what Penske or Junior Johnson or somebody is to NASCAR and Indy Series. I mean, somebody seems to be on top and seems to be Chandler. Look at this. We got a race.
And it is. Oh, look at that. Call that a mild upset.
Boy, everybody in the grandstand has got a Chevrolet shirt on. Is grinning ear to ear. A 530 for Schaefer. Boy, this is Schaefer's comeback tour.
Andy Brass at 532, ever so close, but Paul Schaefer takes the victory. Let's take a look again.
Really, Schaefer pulled him on the other end, I think at half track. Brass actually had him, but Schaefer starts motoring that big Chevrolet engine. Yeah, right there and flies past him.
Very uncharacteristic that Andy would be taken mid-track, but that's exactly what happened. Let's go down trackside and talk to Paul Schaefer. Side monster truck action.
We talked at the beginning about the parity in the manufacturers. Well, we got 2 Fords, 1 Chevy, and 1 Dodge at this point in the competition. You know, the Bigfoot Cruiser, that's kind of an interesting phenomenon because that truck is under the sponsorship of Ford, who has a new vehicle that you can buy off the showroom floor called the Bigfoot Cruiser.
After that wild ride the last round, you can see that Snakebite is back together. No damage to that truck. And there's a look from inside the cockpit at Andy Brass.
You know, in the interview, Snakebite said snakes don't have necks or anything. Well, I'll go along with that. On the other side of the slate is a guy that's got a good head on top of his necks, Andy Brass. Now, he went out in the previous round, but he comes back to the quick side of the bracket. Now, I guarantee you, he's like an old-time gunfighter. Andy Brass still thinks he can win this thing.
Andy Brass is going to win it big time. Now, there may have been some damage, however. That run turned in by Snakebite may not be indicative of the kind of run that he normally could do. Yeah, it could be a result of that last run.
He nets a 6:11, qualified in the 5s, Brass a 5:16. So you're talking some time difference here, but the story here is Andy Brass is back into this thing through the loser bracket, and the kid with no neck, he's still got it on kill in the far lane.
But 5:16 is faster than Brass qualified. And he really picked up the wheels, had a rough landing there. He is standing by now with Army Armstrong.
Tell me about that last race.
Well, the last one was, you know, we just come into the run there. We knew we was going to have to run hard. You know, we was trying to figure out who was going to be in the finals. We was looking at the times. The times have real been good on the other guys. So we knew we was going to have to push it hard, and that's what we did. You know, we run down there. The lane's getting a little loose on us, but we think the Firestones are doing us a good job, so we're just horsepowering her on down through there.
Dodge and a Ford. You got to love this, Gary Lee.
Yeah, back to the starting line. Today's toughest monster trucks prepare to do battle in the finals here in Lima, Ohio. It's Andy Brass. There he is, the Bigfoot Cruiser. And remember, he came from the loser's bracket.
Gary, Andy Brass is working his way back to the finals on this thing, but he said earlier he had made some changes in order to get back to the final. Can you tell me what the changes were? Because they seem to really work.
Well, a lot of changes just in the gearing, you know. I tried something new in my shifting habit on down the track, and it seemed to lose a little bit, you know. We got the new John Kazi Hemi in the truck, so now I'm just trying to shift early, let the motor lug on down through there. It's building us some good horsepower, and as long as we can keep these Firestones connecting to the track, I think we're going to do a pretty good job today.
Well, there's a look at Barefoot and Fred Schaefer. Remember that great hole shot he had in the semifinal round?
Well, Schaefer runs a Linco transmission in the red truck, the Dodge in the far lane. And it's kind of like winding up a rubber band on a little airplane. The harder you go, the harder it'll hold. So he is ready to go. Now, the Kazi horsepower that Brass was talking about is in the engine compartment, so both drivers seem to have an edge. Fred with the transmission, The Bigfoot truck and Andy Brass with horsepower, but the bottom
Hole
line
shot,
is the red
hole
line.
shot, Andy Brass. Oh, Andy hangs on for the victory. Yes, he does at 5:13. It looked like he got the hole shot, but then right there was Fred SHAFER.
SHAFER stayed on him like a bird dog, but Brass making the horsepower mile an hour on the other end and comes back to the loser side of this bracket. Look at the start. A good start by both guys. Watch them settle down in no man's land. You notice the wheels up on the Ford. Now the Dodge makes horsepower and powers the wheels up. They pull the trigger on the last jump.
Oh, by less than a fender, it's Andy Brass. Brass takes the victory here in Lima, Ohio. There's a shot inside the cockpit as we ride with him again. The track may be straight, but look at him work on that steering wheel. Andy Brass, a real workout in the Bigfoot Cruiser. He takes the victory. He's with Army.
Andy Brass proving he's a champion in the fact you just don't give up. You got back into this thing through the loser bracket. Now you're the national points leader.
Yeah, you know, the Ford Bigfoot here has been running well for us today. Just like I say, we slacked off a little bit to one round, and it's something we proved that you can't do out here in the race series now because everybody's so competitive. So we just stepped back in it. We knew what we had to do, and we was going to have to push it hard. We knew Fred was going to run hard. So like I said, that's all we could do. The John Cosby Hemi did us a good job. Like I say, Firestone's hooked up for us, and I think we did it real well today.
Well, congratulations to Andy Brass. We'll have a chance to take a look now at the PENDA point standings after one of 13 events. There's Andy Brass leading Fred SHAFER. Then it's Paul SHAFER, Colt COBRA, and KIRK Dabney. Once again, the first of 13 events. Victory Lane is a joyous place for Andy Brass, the Bigfoot crew. There's Donna Purcell in the background. To the left is Bob Chandler. For Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. We'll see you next week on Trucks and Tractor Power. Now here's news and exciting video release from Diamond P Sports.